Let's talk about Rookie of the Year.
So there's 3 candidates really, other than Brandon Miller. Chet. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I thought you were leaving
guys.
Chet out of this equation. Yes, I believe Chet Holmgren.
Gren.
That's how you say it.
Holmgren.
Chet Holmgren.
There you go.
Yeah, him. Scoot Wemby is probably the 3. Honorable mention, Amen Thompson. Honorable mention to Brandon Miller, I guess. But let's be real here. I think if it's not one of those 3, I will be shocked. Chet is someone else from the Summer League that we could talk about because, man, that guy looked really, really, really good. Everything that I said about Wemby before with his defense can kind of be applied to Chet, where it was just like, Chet's in the game, don't go in the paint. And then on the offensive end, I thought there were, if I had any negative takeaway, it was that it felt like he was a little too timid with pulling threes, where like there were times where he was
attacking
open.
Closeouts a little too much.
There are times where he was open enough where I was like, just shoot that shit, man. You don't think about it, just pull. Because when he did take those threes, they were bottoms. I feel like he fills a gap that OKC has needed, because like Jalen Williams was getting a ton of minutes in their play and stuff. And like, no offense to Jalen, but I don't know if he should be your go-to big in the current moment.
He's capped out as a backup big.
Chet, though, like, he's immediately going to provide a level of rim protection they didn't get close to last year, and he's immediately going to provide a level of floor spacing that like Jalen tried to do, but let's be real, those threes were not going in. I didn't mean to turn this into a shit on Jalen Williams thing.
Wait, hold on. So in Jalen Williams' defense, he shot like 45% from 3 last year.
I was thinking specifically about those play-in.
Okay. Yes. He did not do good in the play.
Yeah, I feel like he was like 1 for 7 that one of those games. But anyways,
but also no one on the roster shot well in the play.
Yeah.
Everyone was terrified to be out there, which is why I'm glad we made the play-in this year, because I was like, these guys are going to be nervous if the first time they're in a postseason setting is like as a 3 seed or something like that.
It's a nice way of putting you're dipping the toe in the pool,
Right.
But
give them the taste, not the full load.
Exactly. The shot blocking, the 3-point shooting. Sometimes he looked really clunky attacking closeouts. Sometimes he looked really good. If he attacks the closeouts in the proper moments and doesn't force it, I think that can bode well for some easy offense. I don't know how great of an actual like screening option he will be. Obviously would be more of a pop guy than a roll guy. But I am curious like how much of an interior threat he's going to actually end up being on offense.
So with his screening, it kind of depends on like what kind of pick and roll coverage they're seeing, because one thing that is really apparent if you watch film from his time with Gonzaga, and then even anytime he's been in the summer league, the dude, even though he's not like a brick wall, like a Steven Adams or anything, or like a Jarrett Allen, he has really good screening instincts. So what I mean by that is like, he can sense when a hedge is coming before it happens. So like he'll come up and get his defender to hedge the screen in a pick and roll, but he doesn't actually even have to like fake that screen in the first place. He'll just move as if he's going to set a screen and then just end up ghosting it.
Yeah.
And then he gets a wide open lane to the basket. That's something he's very, very good at, which I think makes up for the fact that he lacks traditional strength as like a screener. And then as far as like posting up and stuff and like being an interior threat that's going to like rely on creating for themselves down low, I don't know how much of that is actually going to be a part of his game, especially because of the way OKC plays. It's very much space the floor and operate out of that kind of shell. He is a good dribble handoff initiator, even though if, like I said, the screening isn't necessarily going to stop people dead in their tracks.
Well, I was more referring to specifically play finishing. Like, how much am I as a defense worried about Chet Holmgren on the roll? Like, I don't think he's going to.
I would be very worried.
Really?
Yeah, it's not a matter of like physicalness. It's mostly like touch, like just the fact that he has such good touch. That's one thing. If you watch his college tape, it's like, yeah, he's not big enough to just like go through you, but he will go around you because he's that long. And like the big thing with Chet is it's not just the fact that he's tall, like Taco Fall is tall, but Chet is very nimble. He's very, very flexible. He clearly like is being trained to be a mobile big man, which is what makes him more deadly than just being tall.
I do worry though, just the thing when you are like one of those guys who does like touch shots and stuff like that. I think of like how Bam Adebayo is often used in the pick and roll. Obviously, he also makes for a great lob target, which I'm sure Chet wouldn't be bad at that department either. But sometimes those touch shots don't go, and then you just play like complete ass. So, it's not necessarily the most reliable option out of the pick and roll all the time. That's the only thing I'd be worried about. But otherwise, like, I think he makes for a great connector on offense and will turn. I believe OKC's defense was already pretty damn good last year, but I think he's going
started out good. Yeah.
I think he's going to take them to a level that's ridiculous on defense and pretty soon. So I do think he has a strong chance. I will say, I feel like Scoot and Wemby will both probably have more impressive stat lines than Chet. And obviously, Rookie of the Year very often is hindered on having those impressive numbers. And that's the one like concern I would really have for him to win that award. I guess we can move on to Scoot and Wemby now. Who do we want to go first? I guess we can save Wemby for last because he seems like the strongest pick here. What do you think about Scoot going into this year?
I'm honestly, with Wemby, it sounds like they're being so conservative with his training and conditioning and his managing his load and everything, and like being very careful about how much, like what roles they're putting him in and like what challenges they're willing to let him have at. But with Scoot, it's very clear that they're going to hand this over to him like immediately.
Yeah,
like he's gonna be able to go crazy. Yeah, and I think that's going to bode really well for him. And like you said, a Rookie of the Year race that is often so heavily predicated on who has the best statistical output, like, or who has the highest points per game, or who has the most assists per game, or something like that. Like with Scoot, he's not going to have any problem getting his numbers. Like, yeah, you do have to consider the fact he's sharing the floor with Anthony Simons and Jeremy Grant, who are both guys that are going to theoretically get theirs. But I still think if those are the only two guys that you have to worry about in terms of taking shots away from Scoot, like there's still plenty of shots left over. He's going to have, a field day. So I think that bodes really well for him.
And I also think, they don't have necessarily a very strong center option as a play finisher, but like Jeremy can make for a good play finisher, specifically on fast breaks, although obviously he likes to take his, mid-range pull-ups and mid-post-ups and whatever. But Anthony Simons, excellent kick-out option. You can't ask for better than that. Dude is a ridiculous shooter. I feel like a good amount of, what's his name? Shaden Sharp, lob target on the fast break again. I feel like the Blazers are going to run a lot. It'd probably be pretty silly for them not to, especially because they might be a little rough around the edges in terms of half-court offense, so you have to make up for that by running a ton. And I just imagine, like, if most likely, I would take all the money on him leading rookies in assists, and I would not be surprised if he scored more points per game than Wemby just by virtue of, again, like you said, just having freedom to do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with him leading rookies in assists per game. I was just looking at the draft, and like the only one who you could maybe see an argument for is Amen Thompson, but like they just signed Fred VanVleet. It's like
that takes away.
He's not gonna have the ball in his hands enough, I don't think.
Yeah,
maybe Keontae George. Maybe Keontae George.
Yeah. But I'd be surprised.
But Scoot's,
if it was anybody but Scoot. Yeah, I'd be surprised if it was anybody but Scoot.
I would be very surprised, honestly, if Scoot wasn't held back a little bit by Chauncey Billups, just because he's not really the best coach, and under him, the Pacers have not had a high pace of play historically, even though they have the tool. And I'm saying the Blazers have not had a high pace of play. Thank you, under him, and so. If he just decides to continue doing what he's been doing and doesn't really adapt to having a talent,
it's like definitely possible that he would just be bullheaded and refuse to like change his ways. But like, I hope he's a decent enough basketball mind, I would think, to be like, I have this absurdly fast lead option. Maybe we should run absurdly fast lead option who's 19.
Right. I was about to say, it's not like Damian Lillard's some low pace player.
But Scoots, I think, is more of an athlete. I think that's fair to say, and he's also not 32,
which is really something, because Damian Lillard's a hell of an athlete. Like
I think
Dame in his prime was an amazing athlete.
Dame's shooting is so ridiculous that people lose focus on how much of a fucking crazy athlete he was.
It's like he's not John Morant or Derrick Rose,
so
but he's like one ring below those guys in terms of guard athleticism.
It pisses you off so much. Why?
No, it pisses me off. If you play 2K16, Damian Lillard's dunk rating is so juiced. It's not even funny. It makes me so mad.
Okay. So we've covered Scoot and Chet. Let's talk about what Wemby's rookie year looks like. I don't know if he's necessarily going to average a crazy amount of points per game out of the gate.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think he probably averages like 19 his rookie year. Maybe that's
even that
17.
feels optimistic.
Yeah, that seems high as hell.
Are we sure? Like they're definitely.
I'm vibing with like 16 to 18, maybe.
Okay, you said it's kind of high when I went 1 point
16
above
feels
18.
realistic. 16 feels. 18 is like still optimistic. 16 is like 16 and a half, maybe.
I'm saying that because like scoring 19 isn't really that fucking hard in the NBA if you're a play finisher and the offense is looking for you. Like Clint Capella averaged 18
Vassell,
like 2
Keldon
years ago.
Johnson.
I think Vassell will take more shots than him. I don't know if Keldon will, maybe, but I think Vassell is due for like a big year, and I'm hoping that with Wemby as an option for him to play off of, he can get more like creating chops for himself and his teammates. I really like Devin Vassell a lot.
Baby Chris Middleton, Devin Vassell.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if Victor averaged even less than that, honestly.
Like, but like,
I feel like he's primarily a defensive guy.
Okay,
and
is
trying
he
to
not
be super cautious with him.
Is he not their second scoring option though? If not third, like at the absolute worst, and like it's not going to be by a large margin. It's not like Keldon or we literally just talked about him. The other guy are going to take too many shots, like 10 more shots per game than Wemby is. Like, I think there's so many guys that average 20 in the NBA now. Like 20 isn't even a very difficult benchmark to surpass. So like, I think 18 to 19 is where I would project him to go personally. But I feel like Scoot's going to average like 22 a game, honestly. And again, lead and assists. But I think obviously it's not just scoring the ball. That's probably the thing where he might like take some time to like really get to the point in his career where he's putting up big scoring numbers. But I think if San Antonio uses him correctly, he'll probably average like 3 assists, 2.5 maybe. And then what do you think his rebound per game average might look like? Because I know we talked about it's not the most impressive thing.
7,
8. How do we? Is he playing center, power forward? I'm pretty sure power forward.
They've
right?
said he's going to play power forward. Yeah.
But who's the starting center? Am I missing someone obvious in my head right now? Because I can't think of somebody. Jakob Poeltl's not there anymore.
Right. I think they just have a hole at center.
Someone asked.
Zach Collins, Kem Birch.
Yeah, I guess if they don't have any other rebounders on the
Charles
whole
Bassey,
team,
Kem Birch is actually
Sandro Mamukelashvili.
There's going to be a lot of Wemby at center moments, I think. So I think 8 rebounds is achievable. And then again, as I mentioned earlier, I think being a top 10 defender almost immediately is pretty conceivable, especially that would bolster a rookie of the year campaign rather significantly if you're in like an all defense conversation as a rookie. And I do think the Spurs would probably win more than the Blazers. I think that's probably the case, but OKC probably wins. Not even probably. OKC is winning more games than the Spurs, unless Wemby is so much better than we even already thought. So their arguments individually will be like Wemby is already one of the best defenders in basketball, and he still averages a fairly, nice amount of stats. OKC, Chet probably has the least impressive stat line out of everybody, but he is a huge, important factor in a team that I think will be a playoff team next year. So he gets more of the winning argument. And then Scoot would just have the raw numbers and probably the most fun mixtape out of everybody of those three. So I think that's all their individual cases. What do you guys think?
I think that's fair. One thing I will say, and I noticed this at Summer League, Chet is going to get postered a lot because he goes up for everything. That dude does not like make business decisions where he's like, I'm not going to defend this. He's like, nope, you're there. I'm defending it. So
yeah, and
that's going to make for some really good highlights, but also he's going to be on the receiving end of some posters.
Yeah, and there's going to be some people that like, you know, Chet for Rookie of the Year, okay, and this is a compilation of him getting his shit packed in. But how about let's rank the order of most likely here. What do you guys think? 1, 2, 3.
I would put Chet 1 personally because, like you said, winning. And then I have reservations about Scoot's ability to not be held back, not just by Chauncey, but by the one in a million chance that Damian Lillard plays some games for Portland before inevitably being traded. At this rate, anyway.
Would definitely take the wind out of the sails of his campaign.
And then Wemby, there's so much of him like they're already saying that he's not going to be playing back-to-backs. And if he plays like 55 games, averages what someone's saying, chat 16-8-2 or 15-8-4, that's a lot less impressive than playing 70 games and averaging a little bit more and the rest of the box score as well as winning more. So honestly, it feels like it's Chet's to lose right now to me.
I think you guys are going a little too low on Wemby's potential score.
I haven't even given my ranking yet.
Oh yeah, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry. I am sorry.
for no reason other than I'm a biased OKC fan. I have Chet number 1.
Wow.
Just kidding. I have reason, and it's the same reason that I had Jalen Williams as my Rookie of the Year pick last year. And it's because I care about contributing to winning, and I care about like being an efficient basketball player and like a productive basketball player. Like I don't care about flashy stats. Like I understand Paolo averaged, 20 points per game last year, but he also shot like maybe 40% from the field and like maybe 28% from 3. And like the team sucked. So, I value winning, and that's why I have him heading into the year. I think he's going to be obviously in a better position than the other two guys to contribute to winning. But that doesn't mean that Chet has any shortage of talent. I still think his statistical output will be enough to get him in the discussion. And then from there, I think, the fact that he's likely going to be on a winning team and contributing to winning, like that's important to me. Elevating your team's floor is important to me.
Yes, I agree. But like, let's make sure we're taking into account the framework of like what historically wins the award, because like actually how much has the argument this player is winning more actually have affected the rookie?
I'm not saying it does, but also I agree with Rudy. Like if Wemby plays like 55 games, like voters are going to look at that and they're going to be like, yeah, dude, he didn't even play 60 games this year.
I didn't factor that in the slightest initially. So yeah, as you guys are talking this through, I'm like, it seems like the Rookie of the Year race will be. I kind of felt like it would be the consensus that Wemby wins, but I'm thinking about it more. I'm seeing the argument for like he might literally end up in 3rd place.
I mean, if you want to look at his stats,
plus Chet has had access to NBA training and like being in that environment for a year now. Like that matters. That helps. It helped Ben Simmons when he won Rookie of the Year.
I also think Chet will have less ups and downs than Wemby will. God, now that you said that, though, you said the Ben Simmons thing, I'm like, son of a bitch, we're going to do this again, aren't we? We're going to do the you can't win, you can't be rookie, you're not even a real rookie, you got drafted last year. That's stupid shit that, like, I just don't care enough about Rookie of the Year to sit here and argue with you about it.
What did Donovan Mitchell do that year where
he averaged like 23 a game as a rookie?
Right, but he wore something that said like real rookie or something. Like he like had an outfit that
it literally just said it was a hoodie that said rookie, and then it like had the definition. It was like
definition
of
rookie.
Which it was like an Adidas marketing campaign. I don't have any problem with that. It was cool.
We
it
got
was
to see Victor
definitely
break that
cool.
out this year.
But I also think that definition was an entirely unfair one. Like what it actually really means. Like I don't think you're not a rookie until you have played. I mean, I guess you're still a rookie after you've played your first game, but I don't think you can cross the threshold of not being considered a rookie until you've played actual NBA basketball. You're a rookie until you step on the floor.
Big Mecha Gaming says, "How about Bilal Koulibaly?" I've seen people talking about this guy.
You nailed that, Rudy.
Thanks. I've only seen people talking about it on Twitter, not out loud, so you know.
Yeah, I feel like people don't give any credit to that. Like I've only seen this name written down. How am I supposed to know how it's pronounced?
Yeah. So does he stand a chance at winning Rookie of the Year, or is this just another, funny thing to say?
He's a project.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
He's definitely a project.
So you didn't get to finish your list. So go next to Wemby or Scoot, who has a higher chance between the two.
Oh, I still go Wemby. Honestly, like I know Wemby's going to be getting the keys. Probably, I know Scoot's getting the keys, but if Jeremy Grant and Anthony Simons weren't there, it would be a different story. But I think that will be somewhat of a hiccup in terms of the numbers. Like I think the numbers for Scoot his rookie year could get pretty wild if he didn't have those two next to him. But the fact that those guys are there, especially Jeremy Grant, like I still think Jeremy Grant is someone who's going to demand the ball in his hands probably more than he should.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to hinder Scoot. So I go Wemby too. Also, I think Wemby is just, I think he's going to be better right out of the gate, but that's not a diss on Scoot. I'm still incredibly high on Scoot. I think he's fantastic.
All right. I'm going to hold firm at 1 with Wemby still. I still have him as my favorite personally, as compelling of a case as you guys have made for Chet. And then I'm going to agree with Scoot being 3rd and put Chet at number 2, just because, again, the winning factor. I mean, maybe that doesn't actually what the voting ends up being just because of, again, like the box score watching. But, yeah, I do still feel good about Wemby. I think I felt like maybe it's just when I said like he's going to average less points than some people might expect. I was thinking some people would expect him to average like 23, like just because all the hype that exists with him. But like I think 18 points per game is entirely within the realm of possibility, especially in an NBA where there are 35 players who average 18 plus points per game. Especially just how few options exist on the Spurs to begin with. So I think his box score will be impressive enough. And again, that factor of him being so good defensively immediately. And then Chet would have more of a winning edge over Scoot. And yeah, maybe Jeremy and Simons would take more shots away from Scoot than I'm giving credit to. So yeah, that's my personal order.
So we're ruling out Brandon Miller, Cam Whitmore, the field.
Anything is possible, but I would be pretty damn shocked if it was not one of those 3. And I will say, this is going to be a historic Rookie of the Year race. I mean, that might have been obvious right out of the gate, but this one might be like a, Melo, LeBron, Mitchell, Ben Simmons type Rookie of the Year race where like we actually still talk about it more than like a week after the award is given out, because that's usually how it goes. Like who really gives a shit? But when there's real competition, it's interesting. And I think this year's race will be a real competition with 3 strong candidates.